Hey guys, Austin here, and in today's video, I am doing my weekly power rankings, and these are so much fun, and everyone always agrees with every ranking that I put, and no one has ever tried to call me names ever, and I've never had to delete comments, so I'm excited about this one. I'm mostly kidding, guys, but these power rankings, they are fun. They are meant to be lighthearted. They are meant to start a discussion, and obviously we're never going to agree on where teams are placed in a power ranking, but with that out of the way, let's just jump into it. Now, the first category we have is PDO God. Then we have our cup contenders. Then we have our playoff locks. Then we have our bubble teams. Then we have stop. Stop is basically stop trying to make the playoffs and start embracing your rebuild. And then we have Celebrini season. That means you're never going to get into that playoff picture and you should be tanking for Macklin Celebrini. So, starting with PDO God, I think we all know who is going in there. The Vancouver Canucks, their PDO continues to hover around 105. They continue to sustain an unbelievable PDO. I don't know how they're doing it. So they go in the PDO God category. They also remain top of the NHL standings. So that's another reason why I have them up there as well. And also, just because their PDO is high, that does not mean that they are a bad team or that they are super lucky. However, I will say, I'm just going to let you know right now, at some point, that almost 14% team shooting percentage is going to come down. And when it does, you might see Vancouver lose a few games here and there, but they have been able to sustain their play. It's been very entertaining to watch. So, yeah, Vancouver is PDO God. Now, our cup contenders. First one, the Boston Bruins. They are also riding a high PDO, but not as high as the Canucks. Boston, they don't have great metrics in terms of expected goals for or shot generation, but they are finding ways to win games. They have strong goaltending. They play a strong, structured game, and they give opponents fits every single night. So even when it looks like they're outmatched and you think Boston is going to start faltering, they do not. Now, the next cup contender that I am putting in here is the Colorado Avalanche. They are perennial cup contenders. If they can get their goaltending figured out, they are obviously one of the favorites in the West, in my personal opinion. Next team I'm putting in cup contender status is the Florida Panthers. They continue to play very well. Matthew Tkachuk is starting to heat up just a little bit here, and if he starts to find his game like he did last season and the year before, watch out, because that just makes Florida even better. I will mention Sam Reinhart. He's shooting 27% this season. So even though he is nearing that, I think he has 37 goals as of this recording. So he's very close to Austin Matthews in the goal scoring race. But that will come down a little bit as well. Not to take anything away from Sam Reinhart's achievements this season. He has obviously been instrumental in Florida's success. And Florida, just as a team in general, they're a nightmare, absolute nightmare. They gave the Oilers, I didn't like any game that they played against Edmonton as an Oilers fan because they were just all over them. So Florida, cup contender, absolutely. Now, the next cup contender that I'm going to stick into this category is not the Dallas Stars. They're going to go in playoff lock. Dallas, they haven't been playing as good lately. I think I had them in the cup contending status in last week's rankings, so they are going to drop into playoff lock just for now. And then when we see them playing a little bit better, they'll probably be back up in the cup contender status. But I will be putting the Edmonton Oilers in the cup contending status ranking this week. 16 wins in a row is something that you just don't see ever, really. Last time we saw that was in 2016-17, and the only team that has ever won more games in a row is the Pittsburgh Penguins of 1992-93. And if you sort by the standings by points percentage, Edmonton has crawled into the top 6, I believe, or top 7 in the entire league. The only thing that's holding Edmonton back in the standings is the fact that they haven't really lost any games in overtime. You have the Bettman point I guess, inflating some teams. So the next cup contender that I am going to put into that category is the Winnipeg Jets. They continue to be an absolute powerhouse. I know they just lost to the Maple Leafs, but their defensive play, Connor Hellebuck, their depth scoring, everything about the Winnipeg Jets has been phenomenal. So they are a cup contender. Now, for our playoff locks, these are teams that are for sure making the playoffs, and they could move up into cup contender status eventually, but for now, they are playoff locks. I have Dallas. I'm going to put Carolina in there. Carolina has figured out their game. Their goaltending has calmed down, so that's nice to see. And then I'm also going to put the Toronto Maple Leafs up in there. They were a bubble team to me, and they still could drop out, but to me, they are a playoff lock. The Vegas Golden Knights, again, that's another team that they started to stumble a little bit, but they have rebounded. Vegas has been playing a lot better. Not quite cup contender, in my opinion, even though they are ahead of the Oilers in the standings, just based on this week's power rankings. I do have Vegas just a little bit under the Oilers in terms of this. And again, guys, this is not the be all end all for rankings. That's just my personal opinion on that. Now, for other playoff locks, we have the Tampa Bay Lightning. I do think that they are going to be a playoff lock. They have been kind of a bubble team most of the season, but based on the rumors that they're trying to improve their team and get a defenseman, top 4 defenseman as well, and just their recent play, I think they are a playoff lock 100%. And then the next team that's a playoff lock is the New York Rangers. Again, that's another team that they were top of the NHL standings for a while. They have struggled a lot in the new year, but we'll see if the Rangers can start to figure things out, if they can find their game again. But they are a playoff lock. Don't worry, Rangers fans. They are going to figure this out. And then the next one, I'm gonna put the Philadelphia Flyers in playoff lock, but they had lost 5 straight games as of the other day before I started recording this. So they could be dropping down to bubble team status. Philly, they were playing really good. They have struggled a lot recently, but we'll see if they can pick it up. Now, when it comes to bubble teams, we have our Pittsburgh Penguins, we have our New Jersey Devils, we have our Detroit Red Wings, we have the New York Islanders. I'm putting the LA Kings in there right now. Actually, Islanders, I'm putting into stop. I don't think the Islanders roster is good enough to make the playoffs. They should probably try and not to do that and maybe embrace a rebuild, because that roster, Lou Lamoriello, sorry, man, don't like your team. I don't like the way it looks, and Patrick Roy is not going to save it. So back to the bubble teams, though. We have Pittsburgh, New Jersey, Detroit, LA. Who else am I going to stick into the bubble team slot here? Seattle has found a way to fight back into that like wild card area, so they're a bubble team. The St. Louis Blues, they've been playing pretty good. They're a bubble team. Washington Capitals, they're a bubble team, probably closer to a playoff lock, but they are a bubble team in my opinion. And after that, let's take a look at the stop. These are teams that should be just focusing on their rebuild or focusing on recouping assets at the deadline. Calgary Flames, even though they have been playing better or had been playing better, again, that's a team that just, they're not, I'm trying to be really nice with my wording here. They're not fun to watch, mostly because it's just depressing watching them. They just look sad, and I feel bad. I'm sorry, Flames fans that are tuning in. I as an Oilers fan, I want Calgary to succeed along with Edmonton, because I love that rivalry, and that playoff series a couple of years ago was so much fun. And I love the trash talking on social media, but Calgary needs to focus on selling, in my opinion. And then, of course, Montreal. They've been hanging around. They get a lot of points from overtime. They don't have a lot of regulation wins. That's a team that needs to stop winning and focus on the rebuild, focus on getting a high draft pick. Buffalo, again, that's a team that you wish was a bubble or playoff lock team. So much talent on Buffalo. Same with Ottawa. So much talent on Ottawa. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know why that they just can't seem to figure things out. Firing DJ Smith, I was one of those people who was like, hey, fire DJ Smith. That's going to make everything better. It did not. Ottawa's actually played much worse under Jacques Martin. Oh my God, almost forgot his name. And then we have the Minnesota Wild. I think their season is done. I don't think that they're going to climb back up and make the playoffs. So I did forget Nashville, though. Nashville is a bubble team. They are currently in the second wildcard spot in the West, so don't want to forget them. I will put them there. Now, when it comes to, I have Arizona as well. They're also a bubble team. So sorry, Arizona fans. Everyone seems to forget about Arizona. My apologies. And it's not just because you play in a small arena or you're a small market. I get ranty and I get focused on things, but our Celebrini season teams, these are the teams that I think have the best lottery chances. We're going to put Anaheim, Columbus, San Jose, and Chicago, of course. But yeah, this is pretty much my NHL power rankings this week. I try not to ramble too much. I do rehearse a little bit, and I try and have my thoughts straightened out. But sometimes when I'm doing this like this, I just Yeah, that's just kind of how it can come across. If you guys like the power rankings, though, and you have fun with them, just make sure you hit that like button. And if you want to see more content like that, of course, if you really liked it, make sure you subscribe. We are building a great channel here in 2024, and I'm excited to see what the future has in store. So that's pretty much it for my power rankings. If you disagree, please let me know angrily in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.